VoqueFit.com. What do all the colors mean? We had the good fortune at Ohio State when we were designing VoqueFit.com to have an engineer in our building whose job it was to ensure that nurses had successful handovers between shift changes. And so she used a lot of colors to help nurses understand the importance of different areas so they could provide a lot of information in a small, quick way. And so that's how we adopted the green, yellow, and red um, pattern for VoqueFit.com. So if you think about what we're trying to do with a vocational fingerprint is to really look and see how well suited someone is for a particular job. It's not saying that there's a mathematical way to match people to jobs, but really for us to consider what information we need to have in order to help someone be successful. So if you remember our system, our goal is to be systematic, data-driven, and analytical. So we have an instructional prompt. To what degree does the worker demonstrate? And for the job, to what degree does the job or internship demand? A common item stem, the ability to communicate face-to-face with other people, and a customized rating scale. High, some, or low ability for the worker, or high, some, and low demand for the job. So if we think about it, if we have a worker, intern, or student who has high ability, and the demands of the job or internship that we're trying to put them on are high, we think that's a good job. They have a high level of ability and they need to do that on a regular basis. So we model that as a pro. Let's say, however, that this worker for another item has low ability, but that the demand of the job is high. So we model that as a con in red. Con doesn't mean no, and red doesn't mean no. If you think about a stop sign, you approach a stop sign and you stop. And for us in our field, we look to design intervention, figure out a way for that individual to be able to learn a new skill. Because as an occupational therapist, I believe that people can learn, grow, and change. And so within certain models, Project Search's internship model, for example, we may look intentionally to put someone in areas where they have a number of cons so that they can learn those new skills and have the opportunity to practice that over time. Then there's other different variations of high, some, and low, which I'll show you here on the next screen. So we model green or pro as being high ability for the person and high demand for the job. We model as a strength high ability for the person, some demand for the job. That is in no way, shape, or form bad, but if we think about it, if someone has a really good skill and we want them to be able to do it on an ongoing basis, having that high demand is a better fit for them. We model yellow as some ability and some demand. That has been found by Project Search to be one of the best ways that people can learn new skills. They have some ability, so they have some emerging skill, and they just need some opportunity to practice that in order to move from some ability to high ability. We model as this orangish color, some ability by the person, but a high demand. We say that because they have some emerging skill, but they're going to need to really do that on a very regular basis. So the rubber is going to meet the road pretty quickly for them to develop that skill. So they may need some additional scaffolding and support, especially initially as they're developing that skill. Low ability for the individual and high demand we model as red. So again, red doesn't mean no, red means stop and think and figure out how we can possibly design intervention so they develop that skill, or potentially is that something that the employer is willing in an employment setting to carve that out of that particular job. I don't speak Russian, for example. Fortunately, my job doesn't require me to speak Russian, so that's good. And that refers to this next item, low ability and low demand. What that means is that if the job that you're looking at doesn't require you to do that, my inability to speak Russian doesn't matter at all. So our model actually drops anything that has low demand outside of it altogether. So we can show you that either in pie charts or in these bar charts or bar graphs. So the reason that these have different links in them is that that usher job, which is at the top, has more low demand than the library assistant that has very few low demand. Because again, if we model something as being low demand, it falls out altogether. So I'd like to show you what that looks like in a real live time. So this is a vocational fingerprint that we've gone down and done our matching, and show, again, it shows you how well suited this person is for these various jobs with green. So pros, strengths, areas of intervention, needs, and cons. So we can click on any of those. So either up at the top, or if you like pie, you can go down and click on the pie as well. But you can click on the usher job and it'll show you the pros. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pros, 2 strengths, a number of areas for intervention, some needs, and some cons. Now, even though I said red means stop, not no, there might be some items that are in red that are actually going to be deal breakers. And so perhaps, hand hygiene is a really, really important thing for someone to be able to complete in a certain job. So they need to make sure that they have those skills down pat before they start that. So that's an example where you might provide some overtraining before someone starts an internship or a job, so they have that skill down, so they can concentrate on learning the other tasks on the job and not just on hand hygiene. And again, if you like pie, that'll show you the same type of information.